All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a pleasure to have you here for this week's version of the live Q&A. Super exciting as always. I get questions every week. I usually try and narrow it down to 3, but if there's more that are great, I'll always use them. Again, you can always send questions to me at Wally at phonesalessecrets.com, or you can you send them in any one of the social media platforms I'm on, and let me know what questions I can answer for you. So, first question this week says, how do you balance the need to meet sales targets with maintaining strong customer relationships? So I'm a huge proponent of time blocking and owning your time at a high level. And if you're going to be successful in any sales position, you always have to have time built into your calendar to work on your business, which is basically taking care of the administrative side of things and planning and growing and whatnot. Work in your business, which is picking up the phone, making phone calls, sitting belly to belly with people, helping them buy and sell homes or whatever you sell, and then making time to continue to strengthen the relationships that you have and even forge new ones with people. And so, ideally, especially depending upon what stage you are in your business, you may spend more time in the beginning prospecting and building relationships to sell to people or help people buy houses or whatever they do, and less time with maintaining relationships with people you already know. But as your business gets bigger and you start doing more, you'll have the ability to do more of the staying in touch with people and building those relationships. And as you get bigger, as you make more money, you can take some money that you make and invest it into getting customer service, or a virtual assistant to take care of some of the administrative stuff, or an inside sales agent to go ahead and set appointments for you and to continue to cultivate leads, which then frees you up to do more of what you really can do and should do as you build a mature business, and that's talk to the folks that you know so you can get the easier, less expensive business. So got to make time for it. You got to build it into your calendar based on what you're trying to accomplish, and then from there really make sure that you do what you need to do to get out of the things you need to do to get that business up and running as it gets up and running, and spend more time on strengthening and generating opportunities from existing relationships. Number 2, how did the pandemic impact your sales strategy, and how are you staying prepared for something like that in the future? I guess now I can say the good fortune of working with tons of real estate agents during the Great Recession. Let's just call it 2008 to 2012, good, 4 or 5 years, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So learned a lot back then about, what they call now the whole pivot and how you need to pivot to grow your business. And so I think number 1, most important thing to be effective in a changing market is that you need to be an expert. But you need to be an expert in whatever's going on so you can relate that information to your prospects, so you can let them know exactly what they need to do to buy your product or to take advantage of your product or whatever you do, your service, any program you have. So you need to know exactly how what you're doing is going to impact somebody's life based on what's happening in the market, and obviously how they can afford it, how it's going to help make them more money, how it's going to save them time, how it's going to make stress less for them, or maybe would it make them more money or save them money, right? But so being an expert is probably one of the most important things you can do for your sales strategy, because that allows you to have real conversations with people about things that are going to affect them based upon what you and your company do. Now, in addition to that, obviously, you still have to prospect, you still have to build relationships with people, and, you may have to make more contacts, you may have to make more calls, you may have to sit in front of people more than one time in order to make those things happen. So I think you just have to be committed to being in your business a little bit more, but also making sure that you're using your expertise when you're sitting with people so that you can go ahead and secure great relationships with them and turn them into opportunities. The second half of that question was, how are you staying prepared for something like that in the future? Well, listen, you have to be prepared no matter what the market is. Does that make sense? For instance, look at the last 2+ years in the tech industry, in the real estate industry, and some other industries out there. Inventories got fat, the level of employment got fat for different companies, right? Lots of people got hired to kind of take care of the demand, but then as things slowed down, as inflation came up, as interest rates came up, as the economy slowed down, lots of trimming, lots of cutting, and so I think it doesn't matter what's happening. You've got to understand that there's going to be change, and you've got to be prepared mentally, psychologically, emotionally, and then you've always got to be on top of your game, right? You should know what's coming down the pike 6 months from now, or have an idea of what's coming down the pike 6 months from now in your industry, so you can plan accordingly, right? So let's take real estate for example. Back in the Great Recession, you had to learn how to do short sales. A lot of people got involved in doing foreclosures because there was a ton of them. You had to be really good at negotiating. right? Because you had buyers had so many houses to choose from, sellers had to find a way to sell their home and at least walk away with the smallest amount of wounds they could take financially. So it's one of these things where your preparation, like, again, part of the question is be an expert first and foremost, understand what's coming down the pike, and then as you look at what's coming down the pike, make changes in what you're doing according to what you need to do. But you should have already been getting ready for that ahead of time, right? So for instance, we were, as we were turning the corner last May and June, as interest rates were starting to kind of tank a little bit, I was really trying to encourage people to get their buyers into the market to go ahead and buy homes, before the interest rates started to pick up, and getting sellers who, wanted to sell, getting them to the point where, hey, listen, let's sell your home now, because at least you can capture the amount of equity you've got now and get it tax-free before home prices go down, which they did. So I think it's a matter of just understanding what's happening in the market, and then applying it to whatever the situation is, and then understanding as far ahead of time as possible so that you can sell effectively and make any changes, go pivot as you need to. So I think that's kind of the nutshell on that. And Leslie, if I had to choose one, what do you think the single most important quality a successful person must have? A willingness to work through fear. I think, there's so many things that are uncertain in life, and if you're a salesperson, there's a strong possibility that some or all of your compensation comes from commission. And so you have to be able to work through the uncertainty of not getting paid when you're supposed to get paid, the uncertainty of a changing market, the uncertainty of when your next deal is going to come to you. Okay, and if you can work through that fear and through that uncertainty, you can make anything happen, right? Fear paralyzes people. The unknown fear paralyzes people. Tony Robbins is known for saying the quality of your life is in direct proportion to, and over the years he's come up with a bunch of them. But when I saw him in 2004, when he came out on stage in Date with Destiny, he said the quality of your life is in direct proportion to the amount of uncertainty you can deal with. And that's always stuck with me. I mean, it really has. And I because of the crazy life that I've had, a lot of it self-imposed, I've had to deal with a lot of uncertainty. No, I'm not saying I made it through all of it successfully. I mean, certainly I didn't. But, I think to be a great salesperson, you've got to be able to move through fear and continue to work and doing the things you need to do to be successful no matter what. I really do believe that's the single most important quality that every salesperson should have, because if you can move through uncertainty, move through fear to continue doing what you need to do and not focusing on your bank account going down, and instead focusing on what you should be doing to grow your business, I think you can make it through anything. All right, those are the 3 questions for today. Again, hit me up, Wally at Phone Sales Secrets, or if you go online and just put an @Wally Bressler, you'll get every social media platform I'm on. And I'd love answering these questions, and I'd love to provide you with any sort of additional information I can. All right, guys, remember, always be good, work hard, be kind to yourself.